Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of the Futon Has Spoken podcast.
What's up, guys?
We are talking about episode 3 of Survivor Ghost Island today, and I'm not alone. My name is Brendan Przzy, Przzyfied. We've also are joined today by Matt.
Matt Schmucker.
We are also joined today by
Kyle Gurzell.
and we are finally joined today by
Charlie Karbon.
Yeah, we got a big house today, a full on podcast full of people. So we're gonna talk about episode 3 of Survivor Ghost Island. Just aired a couple minutes ago. We just watched it. Very good episode, I'd say. If you're not named Kyle.
Yeah, it didn't go too hot for my team.
For our fantasy teams.
Did you talk in the first episode?
I did not talk about our fantasy teams, so
should...
I don't really want to.
Okay, that's fair.
So, not too much happened this episode. It was also only an hour, so there isn't a lot of content to talk about. We're going to talk about a few interesting things that happened. First things first, the teams dropped their buffs. They swapped it up.
Starting it right up.
And we got a very interesting swap because they were like pretty much split completely evenly.
Right.
That you can in a
about as even as it gets.
In a 9-9 situation like that is.
I'm being honest, they didn't really react too harshly to this swap.
They really
kind of just like you know.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Just took the punch.
Yeah, they did. I mean, Angela kind of had a few tears. That was the first time she's ever really spoken, except for telling us she can't swim.
Bradley got his first words.
Yeah, I do have that in the notes. It says the Invisibles talk minus Chelsea.
Yeah.
Angela was almost set up for a JP boot where it was, oh, she's talking and then she's gone. But she narrowly escaped it.
I'd like to take a moment of silence for JP Hilzebeck.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
He's out saving lives.
A hero fell. He is out here being a real hero and a healer and a hustler.
Can the thumbnail over the screen be JP just the entire episode?
No.
Please?
He's our mascot.
I'll throw it up there.
At least put it up there for us a couple.
So in terms of people who did not talk at all in the premiere. We got Chelsea, Bradley, Angela, and who's the fourth one? Libby.
Libby finally
all of them got a pretty good amount of content this episode.
I don't know if I would say that about Chelsea.
Except for Chelsea, who said "watch out" during the challenge, that was all she got, all she wrote. But so the tribes are now swapped, and we head on over to Malolo. And this is a segment I like to call Bradley the Bitch.
Bradley finally gets some screen time.
It's not good screen time, but he gets it.
He's just delightful.
Yeah.
I'm still not 100% sure if Bradley is playing like this really pompous, arrogant character.
That's exactly what I was saying. Like, I was going to say he's very pompous.
Yeah.
I hope he's acting, because if he's just actually that
if he's this much of a bitch,
always.
then we're going to have some problems.
Because judging by his pre-premiere
his pre-game content.
Yeah, where he says he can't tolerate people dumber than him.
Yeah,
I think
for it.
I definitely think he's playing. He's continuing to play a character as he.
I hope he's playing it up.
He did almost get casted in Bronze Brain Beauty as like the arrogant kid on Brains. So I'm assuming that he is playing up a character a little bit. Can't blame him for that one. But all Bradley really does is complain about how Malola's beach is not as cool as it used to be over at Naviti.
It's such a dumb thing to complain about too.
It's very dumb.
You're on a beach in Fiji. Just
it's not
shut
like
up.
it's not like he complained about. It's like we have sand over there. That was just dirt. Like how do you?
How do you compare the two?
Dirt is a lot easier
we'd say Anakin Skywalker. He'd be happy to move over to Malolo.
He'd be very happy and not have to get any of that rough and coarse, irritating sand.
He mentioned it multiple times too, so you know he's being a bitch about it.
But yeah, he also, I mean, he's kind of had like this evil mastermind kind of thing where he's like, oh, these guys are fun, and then we're like gonna vote him out.
Yeah. I really want Bradley to do well in the late game, but if he's actually that annoying the entire time, he's screwed. Although, we said the same thing about Chrissy.
We did.
So...
That's fair.
There's a possibility.
So realizing that they're down 5-4, the Malolo bunch of 18-year-old Michael, Bren Daddy, Yoga Mom, and Jenna
Detroit,
represent Detroit.
Represent.
Gotta represent. They go idol hunting, and they make this big whole thing about how Stephanie's probably gonna find the idol. She's talking about it, and then like Michael walks by a tree. He's like, "Oh, there it is."
Yeah, Stephanie got robbed.
Michael came in there for the sweep.
So Michael finds surprisingly one.
was like,
It's still recording.
I-
Hopefully, yep. Okay, so
want
they
to see
find
the list.
James's idol, and these kids who haven't seen the entirety of China. I know Kyle,
I'm
you were
halfway through it.
you haven't gotten to that episode
Actually,
yet.
we started watching the last time we were all in this
Actually,
room.
yes.
We did
this
start
is true.
watching it, but we did not get to the part where James gets voted out with 2 idols. So Kyle had his eyes closed the entire time,
I did.
not trying to see, I guess, who was remaining in the cast,
You are absolutely right in that. I want to keep that a surprise.
which is a very fair thing to do, I'd say.
Indubitably.
So Michael finds it with Brendan, Bren Daddy.
We don't know if they tell Stephanie.
No, they
and-
definitely didn't, because that was in the next time on Survivor
Oh,
where they did
yeah.
tell
Get
him.
there.
So they're gonna do that eventually. They just haven't done it yet.
I
Yep.
think finding an idol in another person's like presence is dangerous no matter like how you slice it, because of course then that's
It
just
tends to not go well for people.
Unless you
Right.
guys are like the bestest of friends.
Mhm.
which I don't think Michael and Brendan are.
Maybe he's like, oh, you remind me of a gym
the thing-
teacher I had last year in high school.
The thing about James's idol is that it's a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big object where these
It
days
is.
you stuff them down your pants as soon as you get them.
I
You're not
really
gonna be
hope
able
he
to
stuffs it down his
stuff
pants.
it.
Imagine the
Yeah.
imagine
Wow,
the
Michael, that bulge is enormous.
That's a good size you got there, JP.
That's a good size you got there, JP.
Yeah, right.
I might soundboard that one in. I kind of feel like we need a soundboard
Yeah.
for the
Yes.
podcast. And that's gonna be on there.
That's gonna be the only noise on the soundboard.
That's a good
Yes.
size there. Yeah, they'll just be all JP.
All
Like,
JP related.
One of them will be that hidden confessional where he talks about like 15 minutes about how the merge is like the second half of a football game.
It's just a 15-minute soundbite, and we just leave it in the middle of our podcast.
Okay, so that's really most stuff that happens on Malolo for this episode. We don't really come back after they find James's idol. But over on Navidi, there is
There is one
yeah.
thing I want to say. Doesn't it seem like while you're on Ghost Island, even if you get the thing that says you don't get a clue, don't you figure that there's an idol there? Doesn't it seem worth looking anyway?
Oh, I feel like they're probably. I don't think there's gonna be anything hidden on Ghost Island because the whole point is that you have to like play
Get
a game
the
of
clue
chance
and play the game.
Because
Yeah.
I think all the valuable stuff on Ghost Island is gonna be like in the little locked
Yeah.
box.
That makes
because
sense.
on like Exile Island in past seasons, you
Yeah.
had like the urns or
Yeah.
whatever that
You had to
had
pick an
the
urn.
clues to the
Yeah.
idol.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's anything else hidden on there.
And I think if there is a clue in the thing that is for something on Ghost Island, they'll probably wait to hide it until you get the clue.
That makes sense.
I don't know if anything will actually be hidden on Ghost Island or not. I think most of the stuff will probably be like given to you in the
Yeah.
box, or it will be back at your camp or whatever.
That makes sense.
Like when Ryan found the idol under the flag, and JP kind of just watched him. We're gonna talk about JP a lot in this podcast, every
We
episode.
love
This
JP.
is JP the podcast. The Futon Has Spoken was just a joke name. It's actually called JP
called
Hilsebeck.
JP Hilsebeck's fan club. That's what we're called. So over on Navidi, we have a civil war brewing between the forces of Dom, Chrome Dominic, and the forces of Chris, Pretty Boy. I don't know.
model.
This is good versus evil.
Not really.
If you side with Dominic, you have chosen the dark side. Chris is clearly the correct choice here. Chris is just way cooler, and Dominic sucks.
I disagree, but we're just gonna.
We all know Dominic is just a quality assured version of Tony.
Quality assured.
So we're gonna so in terms
Super
as of
discount.
right now in the episode, the forces seem to be Chris and Angela taking on the forces of, I guess, Dom and Wendell. They're
Dom, Wendell, and Morgan.
I don't know if Wendell's not Wendell. I don't know if Morgan was totally with him at this point. I guess they might be.
Morgan seemed like she was Dominic's closest ally.
She
because-
seemed a lot closer to like a Libby.
Well, Angela approached Morgan
Yeah.
during the episode, and Morgan was like, "No, I'm with Dominic. I don't want to get Dominic out."
Okay, gotcha,
So-
gotcha. I must have like not remembered that one
Yeah,
properly.
either I'm making things up. Or...
I think you're right. I think
he's
you're right.
Okay.
Well,
Cool.
you also said that Chris and Angela were kind of a team at this
Yeah.
point in the episode, but even Angela said, "Oh, she doesn't like
yeah.
getting bossed around."
Yeah,
by
that's
Chris,
true. That was-
and she valued loyalty
Yeah.
from her past
Yeah.
tribe mates, so she didn't want to vote anybody.
That is
from
true.
Their tribe.
I thought it was really funny how the male model was trying to like dictate the military woman what to
Right.
do. Like, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure she'd probably kick your ass there, Chris.
Yeah.
She has a bit of experience doing that. There we go. Okay, we're back. We're
Okay.
back. So, we already go through those. So, as a sign of trust, actually, this was after, I think, the immunity challenge. We're just going to talk about this now because I think it's pretty funny and it kind of it transitions well. As a sign of trust, because Chris was going around and telling everyone Dom has the idol, which is a very fair statement because he does.
Yes.
But Dom didn't want them to think he had the idol. So in order to show them that he was trustworthy, I'm going to be quoting some LJ here. In order to show them he was trustworthy, he showed them that he lied.
Yep.
And
Which is different.
different. He showed the Malolo 4 of like Laurel, James, Donathan, and Libby. Showed him his fake idol that he made and said, like, this is all Chris knows about. It's not real. I don't have a real idol, which is cool. You know,
Yeah.
works out.
It
I
works.
think that was a pretty smart play. Get the stuff off his back, except it doesn't really work.
James doesn't buy it. James is a champ. He's like, nope, something is off here. Something is fishy.
Yeah,
I don't buy it. Don't
didn't really work with Chris either. He immediately saw through it,
Yeah.
and now James sees through it. I think
I'm
I
noticing
think
a
all of those
pattern.
people were smarter
Yeah.
than to believe him. It's like, all right, this dude is a rat,
Yeah.
and we like obviously something is up about him if rumors
Yes,
are going around that he has an idol and he goes through the effort of making a fake one.
Yeah,
So
that's
the,
true.
The clearance section of the
it's
Tony part is
very
showing.
questionable.
I think
The
it's
bargain
worth.
bin Tony is
Yeah,
showing.
Yeah.
I feel like it is worth mentioning though that like Joe and Tony, it's like everybody is aware he's a schemer, and it's
Yes.
just how long do they want to let him hang around? In the
It
case
worked
of
for
Tony,
Tony,
they
it's
never
not-
just
yeah.
get they just never get around to
They
getting
never
him
get
out.
around to him.
So I think it'll just be how long until everybody goes, okay, we should probably actually take care of him.
Yeah, I always think it's just really funny. It's like, I want to show you guys how trustworthy I am. So here is this fake idol that I use to lie to other people.
Yep.
But not you. Not you. No,
Not
no,
you.
no, no, no.
Trust me.
Never lie to you. But I would definitely lie to the other people that I've already fooled with this fake idol. So we go to our the immunity challenge, which the first half of it is all new. We called it the American Ninja Warrior Challenge.
Yep.
Shout out Jed. not Thailand Jed, a different Jed. You know who you are.
Jed, very special to our
Yeah.
hearts.
Very special.
Very
to
near
our
and
hearts.
dear.
American Ninja Warrior veteran. He's not, but so the challenge was you have to do some American Ninja Warrior parkour. You had to I don't really
Ladder.
know.
Dig up a ladder and
Yeah,
get
dig
a
up the
rope.
ladder.
Yeah, you had to grappling hook yourself up a wall, and it was
and
just
make a puzzle that's in the shape of a Maui head.
shape
Yep.
of a Squidward's house.
Moai. I don't remember.
We got and a special guest in this challenge was boxer briefs.
Yes,
as I
brought to you by
was
Boxer
saying.
Briefs.
They were I know Charlie, you made a
I was
observation.
very perplexed. I'm like, why is everybody in their underwear?
That's
Everybody
exactly-
wants to show off the rolls.
Pretty much
I
everyone is
understand that
showing
this
off
is
the
not
bulge
a
now.
new thing,
Yeah.
But I feel
they're
like I'm
just-
noticing
they're
it
just
more.
a lot more noticeable.
Yes.
I think everybody's
lot of-
just packing more.
And that's what I was gonna say. All these guys are packing
Yes.
for one.
Are you saying you dislike Bradley's like bright baby blue
Well,
boxer
that's
briefs
what I was gonna say.
that
The-
are like
the,
skin tight?
the briefs are very colorful. I think that's why I'm
Yeah.
noticing more.
Just for the record, we are all straight males. We're just
Actually-
noticing.
Debatable.
That's debatable.
It's debatable for at least one of us.
I wonder who.
So we're just making these observations, you know, bros being guys, dudes being dudes, from dude to dude, you know.
Yep.
A lot of these boxer briefs are getting a bit absurd. I remember they panned to Brad. I think it was during the swap when they panned to Bradley, and like we're just like, "What are you wearing?"
The real question is, what is he not wearing?
The cameramen
Hey.
are not subtle, just panning directly to the
To his-
bulge
to his
and
bulge,
to the bikini.
yes.
I am
It's just
of the
right
I
there.
saw this somewhere. I'm pretty sure I'm on the firm conspiracy belief that the cameramen are like they got hired from previous jobs directing porn, because in the premiere when Jacob was talking to Stephanie, like the cameraman would just like kind of like zoom towards her tits.
Yeah.
like you would in a porno. So that's I saw that, I think, like on the sub or
It's
something.
sneaky. It's
And that's
sneaky.
I think where their past
I always like
employment
to.
comes from.
I always personally like to imagine all the snakes as, you know, whenever they. I think they've done it in a couple seasons. I think 29 is an example of that. on Exile Island.
Yeah.
When was it Drew?
Oh yeah.
Drew was on Exile
when
Island.
when Drew goes to exile, I'm with Jacqueline, and then they
Jacqueline,
have like the
yes.
euphemism
The-
of the snake,
The
like
snake coming out of the
hardening
bush.
out of the tree.
Hurting
They've
out
done
of
it
the
in a
tree.
couple other seasons.
While he was
too.
checking her out.
Did they do it with Figtails?
Maybe, I don't
They
remember.
may
I
have.
think they did it with Figtails, but a quality editing
Quality
joke.
edit.
So, challenge was a bit uneventful. Malolo doesn't know how ladders work.
Somehow.
It's
how?
not. It's
How?
It's
It's
not that
not a
hard.
difficult
They
concept.
were saying to themselves, like, no, this end goes down. I'm like, they're the same
Yeah,
end.
it's a ladder.
Yeah. They were like, "Oh, you got to flip it around." Like, no, you
Just
don't.
put one in
It
the dirt and
It
raise
doesn't
it up.
matter which side is facing which direction. You could just go to the. If it matters that much, you could just walk around the ladder and go up that way. so that cost them some time, but it didn't matter because
Because Wendell
Bradley,
struggled on
Bradley
this
and
puzzle.
Kellen
Bradley and Kellen, the
got
dream,
the brains
the
and
dream
they're very good at
team.
puzzles. Kellen proved herself in the first
Yeah.
episode.
They pulled
Yeah.
out a Xi'an. They could do logic puzzles in their sleep.
Bradley is smart and will not conversate with anybody who is not as smart as him. And
So we must know Kellen's pretty smart.
Kellen's pretty smart because if Bradley's with it, then you know she's smart.
I'm a Kellen fan. Let me tell you that. So
I want to be a Bradley fan, but
Malolo
he's making it
wins
hard.
their first ever challenge, or at least like Brendan, Stephanie, Michael, and Jenna win their first immunity challenge ever. Congrats to them! Woo! Always fun. So they decide to the new thing is they got to pick on someone to go to Ghost Island, and it's a bit hard because they just swapped, and there's people from the original tribes on both teams, so they can't come to a decision, and they draw rocks.
They
So-
tried to vote
Yeah.
out Donovan, or
Yeah.
they tried to vote for Donovan to go to Voice Island for the record. I said Voice Island.
Ghost Island, which
But-
I was confused with originally, but I understand why now.
Right. So they said, does everybody agree
Dissent.
with Donovan?
Yeah.
But then Stephanie says, I do not.
I don't
I
I
consent.
dissent. I dissent. That's
I
what
dissent.
she said.
Yeah, and
To
it
save
was
Donovan.
confusing at first, and then I realized
that
why
would
she
be
did
a
it.
great
Yeah.
soundbite, by the way.
I don't consent.
I dissent.
Oh, that's fair. I'll try to pull that one too. So we got. So at first I'm like, why would you not want Donathan to send over there? Then you know for a fact that he's safe. But then I realized that if they send over an original Malolo, they brought this up later, and I realized it. Then it's
Yes.
5-3, and it's a lot harder for.
One of your old tribesmen
Because
to
if-
stick around.
Because if you send an original Navidi, then you force a 4-4 tie at least, unless there's some shenanigans
Yeah.
going on like there were. They had
4-4 tie forces a flip.
They had no
Yeah.
idea there were shenanigans afoot, so it's good that they sent him. And that Chris draws the bad rock.
Also, who totally called Chris? I mean, not really calling for it. but
It's
he was
little-
rooting for
does
Chris.
yeah? First of all, does anyone care?
I
Second of
care
all, does
immensely
it
about
it
Chris.
matter?
No.
Chris is sweet.
You
He
didn't
is
have
the
any-
epitome of everything
was
that is
no-
good in this world.
There was no
I'm
sort
sure
of.
everybody who would possibly listen to this would disagree and say Chris sucks.
Yeah,
Chris
yeah,
sucks
that-
as a player. He might be cool as a person,
I'm sure.
but as a player.
Well, yeah. But I
So-
just want to see Chris and Sebastian reunite. That's what we
The
all
Fisher,
want.
the
Oh,
Florida
yes, of
boys,
course.
Yes.
Florida boys. You know,
Florida boys.
just
Florida boys.
Florida boys being
Couple
boys.
of bros.
So Chris gets sent to Ghost Island. He does not get a.
Doesn't get a clue.
He doesn't get a chance at a artifact or a relic of
Jigsaw
the past.
was not feeling it today.
Jigsaw was not in a mood, and Chris gets a nice touching scene where he's
It's
trying to
emotional.
it was admirable. He's trying to put on a tough guy appearance for everyone back at camp.
And of course,
But, of
reveals
course-
the sneaky mom cancer.
On the inside, he's very sad, and his mom doesn't have cancer; she's MS. But
Oh, my bad.
it's the
Still counts.
We're counting it in the same.
Count it.
I originally very first thought was that he was gonna pull a Maraska and just dip out of there, realize
That
wait.
would have been so abrupt, though.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
would have been.
To be fair, Jenna's wasn't that long conned either. She
That's
kind of
true.
started getting sad in one episode and then was out right after.
Yeah.
But Chris decides to cry it out like a real
Sticking
bro.
it out.
He didn't have a bro with him to cry out with, but
Rip Sebastian.
Rip Sebastian, if he was there, I'm sure he would have
Cried.
cried it out with him, being a real bro. And we got also Sebastian. I forgot to mention, just has this weird thing with candy. Because all of his
Yeah.
confessionals so far have just
It's-
involved candy.
I,
But he did say he was like a banana Laffy Taffy, and I can
I can.
agree. Yeah, it's fine.
yeah, never mind.
It's fine.
We're
He's
good.
I want
just
a piece of
sweetheart. He's America's sweetheart.
I'm a big fan
Fuck The Bachelor. We all thought Sebastian.
of Sebastian. Should be the next Bachelor. He won't
Yeah.
pull any of that garbage that Ari pulled this
Fucking
season.
Ari.
This is not a Bachelor podcast. We won't get into it here.
back-
I wish I was making a Bachelor podcast. Let me tell you.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so Chris does a sad. He is a bit upset or he's just a bit overwhelmed by all the emotion hitting him at once because he's not around other people. He's alone by himself. He makes a crap ton of rice. Like last episode, Donathan made like an entire village's worth of rice when he was on Ghost Island. So I guess that's just what they give them.
Rice.
Because he just had like a full pot full of it, which is interesting. So we're back to Navidi. They're figuring out who they want to vote.
Right after the challenge,
Yeah.
it was so up in the air. Like
Mhm.
you didn't really have
I
a
had-
deadlock on anybody.
I had no idea who it was
Yeah.
gonna be.
It could have gone from Dominic to Donathan.
Yeah. So
to...
originally it was Angela was the main
Angela
target for everyone.
starts out as the main target coming back from camp, and it seems like
I thought she was gone until the
it
very
seems
very
like
end.
all 7 are geared on Angela, and the way that the editors pulled almost every episode last season was they would give you an original target, and then they would bait somebody else in and say, hey, maybe we'll switch and we'll go for them. So at Tribal Council, it leaves it up in the air, and then they would always go back to the first one.
Mhm.
So we're watching this live going, oh, well, there's 2 options, and it's probably going to be the first obvious Angela boot, because it would have been a 7-1.
then it
and
was
would've been
neither.
Easy. Yeah.
That was interesting.
James turns on Dominic and says, nope, we're getting out Morgan, because your idol did not fool
That was
me.
actually a very, very smart play
It
by
was.
the Malolo bunch. So basically, like, backtracking what happened, Dom shows him the fake idol. That happened, like, around this time. And then James is like, oh, no, he's a sneaky little boy. And he realizes that they're trying to vote Angela off. So they're not with Angela, giving them a majority by default being 4. So all they have to do is vote for someone, and they get voted out.
Yep.
So, very, very heads up call, I'd say, on James's part.
He is a business analyst, and he analyzed those numbers very well.
I had genuinely no idea that, it was a very good Blindside episode.
It was a
I'd
very
say.
good blindside episode.
I had
Hashtag
absolutely
blindside.
no idea it would be Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
But Morgan was trying to,
shocked.
because they kind of put up this whole thing about how her and Libby were like best friends now,
Yes.
and that just didn't happen.
Libby
Not at all.
was ruthless.
Yeah. And of course, Angela pretty much threw her vote away and voted for Libby.
Yeah, because she
Well,
doesn't
she
know.
didn't like
She had
throw
no
it.
idea.
She didn't
Yeah.
necessarily.
Angela is almost hilariously out of the loop.
Yeah.
because
Unbelievably. out.
originally her alliance goes to the other alliance and says, hey, let's get Angela out. And Angela, of course, clueless about this. And then, unbeknownst to her, the other alliance just goes, actually, let's just get Morgan out. So there
they
are
don't even-
2 schemes and a double cross going on, and Angela is aware
did
of
not-
none of it.
They did not clue her in, but also they didn't need her.
Yeah, they didn't. It wasn't
necessary that
wasn't
she voted with
necessary.
him anyway.
It's just hilariously out of the loop. And Chris is going to come back from Ghost Island and go to his biggest ally, Angela, and say, Angela, what happened? And Angela is not going to have any idea.
Also, a funny, like, I liked Morgan. I was starting to like Morgan a lot, but like, could she like calm it down a little bit when she speaks?
Right.
She needs to use
She
her
was
inside
getting very
voice.
vocal.
Inside voices.
When
Like,
you need to entertain the people of SeaWorld, you
No,
need
you
a
could
large,
very much
booming voice.
Like you could very much tell she was like an entertainer at SeaWorld. Like she's like,
Absolutely.
I don't know if I asked this during the episode, obviously, but I don't know if you've been to like a whale show or
Yeah.
a dolphin show or whatever.
You
Like,
got to
in marine-
project that voice.
Yeah, because you're in like a big arena basically, and you don't always have a mic.
She is the opposite of Donathan, because Donathan is quiet with an accent and needs subtitling, and Morgan, they had to turn down her audio levels.
Very surprised we didn't get a lot of Donathan actually.
There
this
was not
episode.
much Donathan.
Yep.
It may go back into a sneaky
I definitely
JP
no.
role.
I definitely think he needed a cool down episode
Yeah.
after last.
That's
Yes.
actually
The
Yeah,
That's what I
that's
was gonna
true.
say. He had his
Cool him
time
down.
last episode.
Yeah, I definitely would much rather prefer giving the lesser known characters, except for Chelsea.
Ah,
Yeah,
For some
Chelsea-
reason-
Chelsea
for some
doesn't need
reason.
anything.
Chelsea
So-
doesn't need shit.
Chelsea's gonna blossom in the late game. Just
I
so you
hope she
watch.
does.
Just so you watch.
I hope she does.
Sneaky mom cancer late game.
But okay,
Nah, Chris has already
getting
got
a
that
little
locked
off
up.
topic.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
need to get back on track.
We got Charlie. what we got?
Moving into Tribal Council
Tribal
proper.
Council.
Right off the bat, they admit that there are 2 sides on this tribe.
and Angela makes the really great, very
This tribal council of 8 people that isn't planning on double crossing somebody.
Yes.
She is the only person to not flip in this tribal.
After saying she might.
It was pretty funny because I'm pretty sure Dom and the boys, and I guess girls,
Caught that.
They knew that she wasn't voting with them, but he still acted shocked. Like
Yeah.
he's like, what?
Yeah.
Which is always really funny because she pulls the age-old "don't do this" in Survivor history. You tell people it's like I could vote this way,
Yeah.
or I could vote this way, and at that point,
the cardinal sin of Survivor.
the Chrissy Smith of Survivor, Christy, sorry, not Chrissy, Christy Smith of
The
Survivor.
Amazon Christie.
Don't do that because it's not good. But at that point, I concluded I was like, oh, Angela has to be gone. Like, there's no. She definitely is.
The Survivor gods frown upon people making that dumb of a
Yeah.
mistake.
These tribal councils are just getting insane because first episode Gonzalez just gets up and it's like, hey, are we cool? Not you, Donovan. Shut up.
It was also. I actually completely expected Angela to go at this point. I was like, oh, because in the beginning when they swapped, she was crying about how like, oh, she loved these guys, they were her family. How better of a way to go out than to get voted out, not by the other team, but by your own family that you cried over in the beginning of the episode.
Wait a minute, this isn't blood versus water.
Hey,
Oh,
Hey.
okay. So the votes start piling in. There's one for Libby, one more Angela's vote. We saw that one.
Yep.
We saw her write that one down. No surprise there. We saw the one for whoever Morgan voted for. Who'd she vote for?
Angela.
Morgan voted for Angela.
Angela. We saw Angela's vote. We
see
saw
three.
We see three Angela
We
votes.
see a Libby, then 3 Angelas.
I'm like, oh,
It's like
7-1 Angela.
Yeah, 7-1 Angela.
Nope.
And then we see a Morgan,
Morgan.
come in. So
And
it's
then
3
another
straight
Morgan.
Morgans.
4
then
straight
it's,
Morgans, actually.
Well, it's 3-3-1. So at this point, then they cut to Libby, which is great editing because Libby, it cut to her.
Because she was the one who was
she's
like,
the one who's
friends
shaky
with
about
Morgan.
flipping. She's friends with Morgan.
She talked about how
so
she
it's
didn't want to
voting
vote
for
her
an
out.
ally at that point. And then, of course, it is a 4th Morgan vote.
And she is very, very surprised by this. As so was I, and I'm assuming we all were as well.
Everyone was.
Did any of you guys predict it was going to be Morgan like
No.
after?
No.
That was
No,
very good.
I thought it was a 7-1 Angela.
Yeah, me too. I
was
thought
thinking Angela.
very, very sneaky, and it's not like I know none of you watch Game Changers, but it's very much like not like a Michaela vote off in Game Changers where it's like how the actual fuck did that happen? Like we had no setup, they voted Michaela, and it's not even like a majority. It was just like kind of enough, but like, but this I understand why. Like I get it. Like they said, like we can't vote off Wendell because he's good at challenges. Can't vote off Dom because he's good in challenges.
It's a good
also.
move by James, is what it is.
I definitely think they should have. If they're going by challenges, they definitely should not have voted out the Marine trainer who spends 90% of her time
in the
underwater.
water.
Yeah.
Considering James can't.
Swim.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that would also be, or he can swim, he just can't dive.
Yes.
Rip.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Rip James.
Yeah.
But I definitely would rather. I think like obviously hindsight is a big one, but
It's a power move.
But I think Dominic might have been the better call here.
Oh, I entirely
because
Well,
Morgan
and
can
and they
swim.
know something is fishy.
But they don't know. It's actually pretty good because of the
They
legacy
also
advantage
know that.
that we'll talk
Here's
about
the
later.
thing, though: if they lose the next challenge, they know Chris is going to come back and want Dominic out. So it's an easy.
But Dominic has all these
Dominic
tools at
move.
his belt now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll talk
Well, it
about.
won't be a
the-
5-4
What's the next
because
one?
we're down
Legacy
to 8.
advantage.
You're right.
So Morgan has the legacy advantage, which is very, 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 very good for people like Dominic, but very, very bad for people like Stephanie. Because now she has no idea where the legacy advantage is. I'm gonna predict, right? They're gonna be like, "Whoa, getting your first look into VD." Morgan voted out. It's gonna pan to Stephanie. She's gonna be like,
Yeah.
"Oh,"
Yep.
because she has no idea where the legacy advantage is now. She has like a 1-7. Obviously, I don't know how the legacy advantage works. Can you give it to Chris? Could she have given it to Chris?
I think she could have given it to
I
Chris.
feel like she probably could have. I don't know why she would, because they're not like.
yeah, they weren't aligned.
But like, if let's just say they were, I'm not sure if they would. She might be able to give it to him. I imagine so.
Yeah.
That would be pretty sneaky. So I guess she has a 1 in 8 chance of deciding who has the new legacy advantage. But that's very interesting because now Stephanie does not have as much control as she thought she did.
Mm-hmm.
But she ends up giving the legacy advantage to Dominic,
Yep.
which is already makes this more times than the legacy advantage has been passed around in any other season, being 3. It has never been passed.
God.
The person who finds it gives it to someone, and then that person always makes it to the end and plays it. So this is the first time it's been passed around more than twice in a season, which is very, very nice.
And Dominic's got a target on his head already.
Yeah.
It would not be surprising to see Dominic get the boot as well.
I definitely wouldn't be surprised if that's the reason they made Jacob give it to someone else. Because, like, we really, really want this to be, like, passed around like a hotcake. Like, that's probably what they wanted to do. They wanted, like...
show the cursedness in it.
Like in Millennials Gen X when Jess had it, and then she was like, Dave saved her with an idol, like, at the very, very beginning. They're like, fuck!
Yeah.
We wanted that to just kind of, like, keep, like, skipping around everyone. Like, who has it? No one knows.
Yeah,
And then...
you say that Dominic has a target on his back now, but I think that the Malolo 4, they've kind of, undermined this new tribe, taking it over. I think they're going to let Dominic slide because they're going to have easy pickings now in Angela and Chris.
Yeah.
I think
so.
I think they want Dominic out. I think
if James controls that alliance, then he's going to convince them to get Dominic out. It just depends on how much they listen to James.
I think it makes more sense for them because I don't know who else they boot. They could vote out Angela, but if they wanted to do that, they would have just done it.
Yeah, I think
think they have more control over Chris and Angela's vote than they do with Dominic and Wendell.
But it's going to be interesting because on the next time on Survivor, I have this segment titled "Everyone Tells Everybody About Their Idols When They Really Shouldn't."
Well,
considering this is Ghost Island, where the motto is
secrets.
Yes, it's people's past mistakes, and a lot of them
are not keeping secrets.
Yeah,
they're really bad at secrets.
Like,
and
not good.
It's really, really funny, especially after 35, in which
they haven't seen 35.
I know they haven't seen 35, but as a viewer, after 35, where secrets were the only thing that kept Ben in the game, because everybody else knows everything else about everybody, and then the only secret is Ben's idol.
Yeah.
And that's what carries into the end. It's really
Idols.
funny to watch. Idols.
With a Z.
Idols.
Yes. With like 3 Z's for all 3 idols at the end.
In a row. So we got in the previous, or not previously, on Next Time on Survivor, Dom tells Laurel about his idol, which I guess is...
He just doesn't need to do this, but
I feel like he probably
think
could.
I think it begs the question, why Laurel?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Why Laurel? I mean, probably not. I feel like James is not the right call because he's already suspicious of you.
Yeah.
Libby probably not the call because she literally just turned on like her best friend Morgan.
Yep.
So it leaves Donathan and
and
Donathan and Laurel.
We know Dominic isn't probably gonna side with Donathan on that one.
Well, no. What I'm saying is that Donathan and Laurel are already aligned. Like they have that whole moment in the first episode where they're buddies.
Yeah.
Because Donathan's never seen a black person before in his life.
Yes.
Yep.
So, I think no matter who he tells, the other one's going to know anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know if he knows that. Maybe Laurel's like, oh, I'm really good friends with Donathan, blah, blah, blah. But, so he tells Laurel, probably because he doesn't want to get voted out by the new upsurge in power.
And hey, maybe we'll see a Chris and Dominic team up.
No.
I
would bet
take on the new 4.
I would bet on anything else happening.
I would bet a
happens.
lot of money that doesn't happen, but then again, I would also bet that Joe and Dr. Mike would not team up after the first episode last season.
That's
And
true.
you know what?
And they certainly did.
They got
And
their backs pinned against the wall.
They stole our hearts together.
Cocoa nuts.
Like they stole our coconuts as well.
Mm-hmm.
So another thing that is always really sneaky is that like Wendell and Dominic are like boys also. Like they don't bring that up a lot, but they definitely are.
They're
like,
bros.
They're bros.
They showed them in the first episode.
They're handy manny. They make stuff.
They make stuff, yeah. So I feel like the Malolo 4. I mean, this is gonna sound really weird and convoluted, but the Malolo 4 on Navidi now like Wendell enough.
Mm-hmm.
So they're probably going to trust him and Dominic more,
Mm-hmm.
because like Wendell had absolutely no business going home at all. Like no one said anything bad about him.
I know.
I'm assuming they like him because they're like, hey, you look like my favorite rap artist, Childish Gambino, and he's like,
He's
I know.
also like a really friendly dude.
Yeah. Well, if you remember when James was initially talking about how he didn't trust Dominic, he said we should get out Wendell or Morgan, and then instantly, I think it was Libby goes.
Libby's like, no, not Wendell. Yeah.
Yeah, not Wendell. I like Wendell.
I think it's because he was good in challenges, probably.
Yeah.
But
so was Morgan.
I think.
Well, one of them had to go in their eyes.
Yeah.
I think Dominic might be just sketchy enough where they're gonna be okay biting
Yeah,
the bullet
I
and
agree.
getting Dominic
We
out.
haven't even talked about the other idol conversation that's happening.
Right.
This one makes a lot more sense though, considering they're like the four.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Michael tells, if anyone was surprised by this, that's a shocker, because Michael tells Stephanie and Jenna about his newfound idol with Brandaddy, and
And he says we could make a play here. Those are his words, and I'm not sure what that play could be.
What
I really
this
hope-
suggests
I really
is
hope they
Michael
idol out
plays
Bradley.
an idol. What this suggests is they play the idol for somebody that they think the target is on. Probably Stephanie, if the preview has any indication, and they hope to idol out somebody like that.
I very much think they're gonna just the way that the show has portrayed. Well, that's tough to say because there are a lot of different the targets that it could be. The people they idol out are different because Dez and Chelsea have gotten no content.
Yep.
People get idled out normally have no content, so you don't get too attached to them unless they're Lauren Rimmer,
Yep.
or also Bradley being like a bitch.
Yeah.
They need Sebastian. They need his muscles.
They
man.
can't idol
They're
out
not.
Sebastian.
I very
They're
much
not
doubt.
going to
I
do that.
very
We
much
need
doubt they're idling
Seabass.
out Sebastian.
I want Sebastian to go far.
Who's the fifth Navidi on the Malolo?
Wait, yeah, I was gonna ask who are they outnumbered by?
It's Sebastian, Dez,
Sebastian,
Bradley, Chelsea, and Kellen.
Kellen.
Kellen is mom best friends with other mom.
I don't think they idol out
So
Kellen.
if I was a betting man in Vegas, if I had to bet on black,
It's Bradley.
I would very much say they're gonna idol out Bradley just because of the fact that he's.
He seems the most unlikable, and nobody's attached to him right now.
I was gonna say he a bitch, but that works too.
And as long as they have Kellen, they can do puzzles.
Yes.
Oh, she's the puzzle goddess.
But what if it was Bradley? No, it
I mean, they
Kellen's
both.
pretty
To be
big,
fair, they
yeah.
both the puzzle
They both did
together.
really well.
I can't really pin that one on either one of them.
Yeah.
They kind of worked well today. Is that all? Is that all we got for
I
this
think that's it.
podcast? Anyone have any crazy accusations or opinions or
Free
questions
JP.
or comments or concerns?
Free JP.
Free JP.
Actually,
We want JP's
he's a
last
free
words.
man. He's a free man living out his dreams, being an EMT and a firefighter
At the same time.
at the same damn time.
We want JP's last words. We were robbed
Yeah,
of
we were
JP's
robbed.
last words.
God damn it, Mark Burnett, you slimy ass puppet master. Where's my JP?
Where are the last words of
We're
JP?
so
We want
sorry.
JP on the double
To be
episode.
fair,
in
Gonzalez did not get last words either. So what would you rather have, Gonzalez last words or JP last words?
JP.
That's
JP.
no question.
That's no question. No question.
I'm pretty sure even like in Millennials, Gen X, like Will got last words.
Yoy.
we want JP. Give us JP.
That's all.
I want
That is
JP
all
to
we
host
ask.
the live show.
That is all we
I want
ask.
it to be a co-host, JP.
Well,
and
I don't
Jeff.
remember who got voted up first in that double episode in Millennials Gen X, but I think either Will or Sunday. Both of them got last words. Like I remember that.
Yes.
So, rip JP's last words. That's what we're gonna end this on. Rip JP's last words.
Rip JP.
As always, thank you for watching the Futon Has Spoken podcast, our recap episode for Ghost Island, episode 3.
We will be doing this every week. Follow all of our Twitters or some of our Twitters.
Unfortunately, if you guys are fans of Kyle, he will not be here every week because
This is true.
he lives an hour
I
away
am not a
from
part
us.
of the futon.
We're on spring break right now, so we can all have some
Indubitably.
dudes fun together. A dudes night watching Survivor.
Yep.
I guess on a Wednesday night I have to drive up here.
You definitely should.
I should.
So stay tuned for more recap episodes with Charlie, Matt, and myself. I'm pretty sure we'll probably do more.
Get me on call.
And
I'll be there.
We definitely could do that.
That
I'll call my
that
mom.
could work.
She's got a lot to say.
Yeah, we got Charlie's
My
mom on the
mom's
phone.
the biggest super fan out there.
That's
That's factual. It's
yeah.
not you.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
No,
We're gonna save this debate.
So
for
we're
another
going
time.
to we're going to
This will be an episode.
probably do
3.
some more different kinds of episodes, not just recaps, because those probably I imagine get boring after a
Yeah.
while.
Exactly.
So stick around for more of
Yep,
that.
we will-
Look forward to Mrs. Carbon versus Brendan for
yeah.
biggest super fan.
So
Should be a real smackdown.
Oh, that should be a recurring segment on our podcast here. Me versus my mom.
We're going to sign off for now. All of our Twitters should be on the big overlay on your screen right now. So go
Yep.
give them a follow. Check out the Futon Has Spoken Twitter account. Also, give that one a follow. Currently, I'm the only one following it, so it's a bit. It hurts a little bit.
You didn't
It
even
hurts,
tell
don't
us
it?
it existed.
Oh,
I did not even know it existed.
maybe if you watched the last episode instead of
You know
Let's go
what?
us there.
You know what?
So
That's fair.
Also,
the
check out
channel.
our website.
This has been like 5 minutes.
The
of
Futon Has
outro.
Spoken.
If you like the video, leave a like.
.com. Remember to leave a like, leave a
Is that
comment.
real thing?
Yeah, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscription if you enjoyed.
Leave a
Subscribe for
subscription.
more
baby.
Subscribe to our Patreon.
Subscribe that we don't
Friend the
have.
Boots on Patreon we don't have.
Just click all the links on your screen
Actually,
right now, all at
just
once.
Venmo me money.
Yeah.
Literally, just
donate to charities.
give me money. Give it to me.
Hit up my Venmo.
Promote
All right.
world
It's not
peace.
hard to find.
We will see you in exactly 1 week, unless we make another video sometime before that, which I doubt. But we'll see you then.
And
Bye.
things like that.
And things like that.
JP.